Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, somebody said no sound, so there we go. Hey, this is Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff 2026. Tuning in for our weekly Facebook Live series. Let me make sure everybody can hear me okay. Devin, you hear me all right? Hey, Jihad, welcome. I think I had the sound off, but I believe it's on now. Okay, good deal. Thank you, Jihad. Welcome to our weekly live, where I'm going live on Facebook just to talk about my candidacy for Jefferson County and what we could be doing better as a Jefferson County government, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Try to answer any questions I can about myself or my candidacy. We'll give it a little bit for people to kind of chime in and log on. Bear with me as we get that going. Hopefully everybody had a great Christmas. That was last week. Hopefully you were able to spend some time with your families and loved ones and enjoy your time off if you were able to get some time off. I personally worked, but that's okay. That's what I do. So hopefully everybody had a good time. We did have some good time with some friends and employees at Diamond State Canine, our business, me and Devin, business partners on that. And we had a great employee Christmas party last Tuesday. And then, of course, I had to go to work Wednesday through the weekend. So anyway, thank you guys for joining so much here on our live broadcast for our Facebook followers out there. We're trying to get our message out there about me as your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff, and then answer any questions that people may have. I like to hear their concerns about what's been going on with them, with their issues that they may have with the current Jefferson County government, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, or just issues in general that my platform might be able to help you with, or I could possibly answer a question for you here or there, guide you in the right direction. So if you haven't joined us before, I've already seen a few folks on here that has not been on our weekly podcast, our weekly lives. What I normally do is we talk about who I am, Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff for November of 26. I clarify some things out there. People have asked me consistently why my name wasn't on the primary ballot that is coming up in March. Well, that's because I'm running as an independent candidate. That race is for your primaries, for your Democrat nominees will be going against one another to decide which Democrat or Republican, depending upon their party specific, will come out of there the victor to go into the general election. There is not a Republican candidate for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. There's a total of 3 people in the race. 2 of them are on the Democratic ticket. So they will be vying for a spot through the primary process. And then the person victorious out of that will go, me and him will go against one another in the general election. So we're utilizing our time between now and November to try to garner as much support and answer as many questions as we can about myself, about my candidacy, and just hear from the citizens what you are experiencing. I've talked about my platform, about being tough on crime, having a safe, efficient jail operation, collaborating with our local, state, and federal agencies to assist us in that, and then also talk about my being heavily involved within the community. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. Welcome to our live. Anyway, so we will, and then lastly, utilizing my leadership and experience that I will do within the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, leading from the front, and I'll make that department not only a destination department, but work towards making the Jefferson County area a destination county instead of one that people are leaving from at rapid numbers. Over the past 30 years, there's been 30,000 plus people leave from Jefferson County, and I attribute to that primarily due to high crime rates. I see it personally as I'm out there working within the county. I experience it when I visit with people from all across the state, and when I inform them where I live at and what I do, and just the reactions that we get out of it. So tonight's broadcast or Facebook is we put an announcement out there that we want to talk about the elephant in the room. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about trust. We want to talk about leadership and what's going on in Jefferson County. Why not? And why is, right? Why are we not doing better? And what could we do to do better? And why not, people in certain positions? So with that being said, I'll open it up to any questions that you may have, just to kind of go from there. Welcome in a few new folks that have not been tuning in weekly. And just know that I always say this, that there is no question too tough, and no question deserves to be unanswered. So, I'm not going to have all the answers for you. I field the question as best as I can. If it's not something that I can answer for you specifically because I'm not knowledgeable on that particular topic or aware of that situation, I'll be more than glad. I keep a notepad right here to write them down. I also have a team of folks that monitor with me to help me keep track, because sometimes we've had some technical difficulties over the past few months. Every once in a while, technology doesn't work the way that I expect it to. So anyway, as we're going forward, we try to use this platform just to reach as many people as I can. So while we're waiting on any questions, I would encourage anybody out there that is currently on, it looks like we have 11 or 12 people on there, please like and share and tag somebody that you believe has an interest in the sheriff's race. I would say anybody in Jefferson County should have an interest in the sheriff's race, right? We're all citizens of Jefferson County. We know that we don't have a safe, efficient jail operation. I just put out a stat earlier where 15.05 out of every 1,000 people in Jefferson County will experience a violent crime. And that comes out to a little over $1,000 a piece is what it costs in the pocketbook. And so that's why our number one priority is. So looks like I got a first question. Let's see. Jihad, you have a lot of time to campaign. I do look forward to sitting down and talking to you about crime prevention initiatives. These ideals have been pitched to city leaders over the last 15 years. All thought it was a great idea, but not great enough to act on or reduce crime. Absolutely, Jihad. I think that's an excellent statement, more than a question. I love that. So I think this is the first time that you have tuned in to me. I look forward to sitting down with you and having those discussions. I will talk about with you right now on here. I have mentioned in the past, one of the things that I am wanting to do is, so I do talk about being tough on crime, and some people misconstrue that as that I want to lock everybody up. That is not the case whatsoever. That is not the case. So what I would tell you is it's about holding people accountable. As I have policed in and around Jefferson County, and I have noticed that recidivism is at an all-time high. I see people with 30, 40 arrests. And so what I've tried to do or am doing is I have already started putting together a board, an advisory board specifically on jail issues and recidivism. Is that I want this board to consist of, I hate to put an exact number on it, but I'm going to say 10 to 15 people. I'll let the board kind of dictate that, how that goes, what we feel is needed, where that board will consist of business owners, clergymen from all types of religions, counselors, mental health counselors, substance abuse counselors, small business owners, bankers, etc. And what I want to do is, you just mentioned it there in your statement that they never thought it was a great idea or great enough to act on to reduce crime. So what I want to do is have this board in place, so the moment that I become sheriff, we already have the board in place and that we can implement that. And what that means, what that's going to look like at this point, Jihad, is that we will utilize this board of educators and business owners, bankers, counselors, and what have you, to have complete access to the jail. They will be vetted, and as someone gets incarcerated and processed through through the Dub Brazel Detention Center, this board would have the ability to know who was incarcerated and for what. And then they could provide them with the resources to try to educate these individuals on a different way of life. Similar to a GVI type program before they go to jail, but this is about providing resources to them from people within the community that can help them stop committing crimes, that's going to allow them to be more of a productive member of society and live within societal rules, right? So that's kind of the goal there behind that. And as I've talked to several people throughout my candidacy so far, a little over 100 days, 110 days or so, I've talked to several people that stated exactly that they've talked about this, but specifically I can name off two specific conversations, two separate individuals that have said they've tried to do something like this, but they can't even get through to anybody over at the jail. Again, not me. I'm just telling you that they're saying they've made contact and tried to speak with them over there today. Matter of fact, I had about an hour conversation today with a priest from right here in Pine Bluff, that he was telling me that he works within the Arkansas Department of Corrections to mentor to and provide religious leadership to inmates in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. And I specifically asked him if he was doing anything with the Dub Brazel Detention Center, and he said he was never given access to it. So those are things that we want to do. Looks like we have another question. Hey, Lori. I'm going to look down at my phone for a second because that's kind of acting weird. So, all right. So hopefully, Jihad, that answered your question. You feel free, Jihad. You can reach out to me at any time, and we'll schedule a meeting to sit down and talk. You can come to our place of business, or I'll meet with you wherever you would like. My phone number is 870-556-0330. Again, 870-556-0330. So that number goes to anybody out there that would like to have a discussion about, my candidacy and what issues that they may be facing within the Jefferson County government, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Let's see. All right, hang on a second. It says, so I like this question here from Selena. Welcome, Selena. The sheriff and the quorum court have the power to implement this and work on building the connections back. Thank you for speaking on this and why it's important for us to be implemented. So, I don't even want to put that on the quorum court. If you're talking about what I spoke about, Selena, I mean, that's excellent. Those are elected individuals, and they could help provide funding and allow for that to happen if it should cost money. But as of right now, I'm talking about people who are actively wanting to be involved in their community. We have activists out there. We have leaders out there that just want to give back. And by placing some of them on this board, which I've already started doing, already started filling those positions, I believe that, it'll be at no cost to the government. So, at the end of the day, the sheriff's office is the sheriff's office. The quorum court is the quorum court, and they won't dictate to me what I can and can't do. But yes, and I don't mean that disgruntledly or anything like that. But I'm running for this position because what we've been doing, ladies and gentlemen, is not working. Right? Crime rate is at an all-time high in Jefferson County. We are 1% safer than any other county in the state. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's only 75 counties within the state. So we're the bottom of the barrel when it comes to safety. That's not good. We're also failing in education. 2 out of our 3 school districts recently received an F. All 3 of them received an F, but Whitehall, I believe, had theirs reevaluated, however that looks like, whatever that process looks like. I think they got a C. But we also have the highest unemployment rate in the state at 6.3 or so percent. So all of that is contributed to high crime rate. So we got to reduce the crime, and that starts with having a safe, efficient jail. It starts with having an advisory board to be able to work with these individuals and educate people and provide them with options instead of committing crime. That's what it looks like underneath the Lowery administration. So we got to get that jail safe, and we got to make it where it's efficient. People are held accountable for the crimes that they commit. So Kathy has a question. You've been reaching out to the public to meet with you at breakfast. Are you planning on doing other casual meetings and getting platform heard? Yes. So what Kathy's talking about is I go out several times a week to different spots, have some great breakfast. Today I was out at Lucky's Cafe on 5th Avenue, 5th and Convention there. Some great individuals over there. You get the same breakfast every morning. So if you come out there, you'll probably laugh. You'll know what I get. A couple fried eggs, hash browns, toast, and bacon, but don't change it up much. It's what I like. But yes, I meet a lot of good people there. I've been out to Mom and Pop's. I've been at On Break Cafe in Whitehall. I try to mix it up, go to different places, have a cup of coffee, a little bit of breakfast. Matter of fact, I'll be going tomorrow. I'll run out to Mom and Pop's out there by Grider Field. I'd like to go out there and have a meal. And if somebody wants to stop by and have a cup of coffee or discussion with me, absolutely feel free to come on out. Cup of coffee on me. We'll have a discussion about the Jefferson County government, Jefferson County politics, and the sheriff's office in general, right? All I ask is we keep it respectful and have a understanding that we each have our opinions. So let's see here. Do we have any other questions? No other questions right now. So as we move forward in this, I'd like to go back and talk about what tonight's discussion is about. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: race, trust, and leadership, right? So as we've moved through this race and through this campaign, I have heard many different comments about he's a white man, he can't be a sheriff in this county. I hear people talk about they don't trust their current leadership. We all know about issues that our elected officials are having, where the quorum court is fighting with the county judge is fighting with the quorum court, the sheriff doesn't talk to the county judge don't talk to the sheriff. You know, I'm not pointing fingers. What I will tell you is I will address that. So to be the sheriff, the top law enforcement official in the county, it does not matter if you're black or white. The law is the law. It's written and pushed down by legislators, by the state of Arkansas. You're sworn to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of Arkansas. And that ain't got nothing to do with race on it, right? So the fact that anybody would say he can't be the sheriff of a predominantly African-American community because he's white, that makes no sense to me. I grew up here, so I grew up in a predominantly African-American community. I purposely, intentionally, and consciously made a decision in 2010 to move back to Jefferson County. I have a business in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I work in Jefferson County for an agency. I am telling you that I know what being a Jefferson County citizen is. And I have the leadership experience, the training, and the know-how to lead this county to where it needs to be from a law enforcement perspective. So what I'm asking people to do is get to know me, get to know my platform, ask your questions, and vote for the person that their ideologies align with yours the most, right? Let's not get into this or that. What I've noticed about Jefferson County politics, for unknown reasons to me, because if you've listened to me for any length of time, I've consistently said I'm not a politician. I know I'm running for a political office. But by definition, yes, I am. I do not consider myself a politician because I've never thought about running for public office. I sat back and decided to run when change wasn't being affected the way that I wanted it to be or the way that I felt like was needed in Jefferson County. And then I looked at the field of candidates that were vying for the office. And I said, ain't no way that I can let this happen in the home that I've chosen to be in, the home that I've chosen to build a business in, the home that I've chosen to live the rest of my days in with my wife. I cannot sit back and let the crime rate consistently go through the roof, let the jail be unsafe, not have cooperation with other agencies. I just can't stand by and not do something about it. So I decided, if not me, then who? So I stepped up to the race. It's been great so far. But here in Jefferson County, it is I don't know. I'm going to say it's different than other places I've ever known of as far as the political race goes. It seems to be that people like to jump on individuals, pit one another against each other. Whose side are you on? This type of rhetoric, it seems to be rampant, and it's not helping Jefferson County out at all. I understand you can have a political view, but to attack a person, whether it's through social media, in person, or what have you, because of a belief that they may have that differs from yours, we don't need to be pitting one another against each other. That's just not good for our county. As most of you have chose to live here and chose to make this your home, I would hope you would agree with me that we need to have more of a unified stance on what is tolerated within Jefferson County, and an expectation, an obtainable expectation from our elected officials. And that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do. There's my phone number there. You can reach out to me after the live, or text or call me directly at 870-556-0330. You can also reach me at Lowery4sheriff@gmail.com as well. You can also go out to Lowery4sheriff.com. That's a place that you can go out, find out a little bit more about my vision, about where I am, where I'm from, a little bit more about me and a little history on me. And as well as, if you like what you're hearing from me, you can go ahead and commit to vote for me. We're trying to gather as many names as we can, as people that have already stated that they would support us and vote for me. And you can do that right there. I'm collecting those names and signatures as we speak, because this is an uphill battle, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just make no bones about it. It's difficult to beat an incumbent, but I think it's time that, as I've spoken with many Jefferson County residents, we have heard one consistent theme, and that is literally that we want change. We need change. Change this, change that. We don't like how our leadership is not looking out for us. We don't like the infighting amongst our county officials. We don't like how the jail is being ran. We don't like the lack of transparency. So if you don't like what's been the same for the past 7 years from the sheriff's office perspective, or longer in another elected official's perspective, then I would suggest that you use your most valuable right that you have, in my opinion, and that's the power of the vote. And that's to come out and vote for the person, the candidate that most aligns with Right. All right. Let me see. There's a red mark. There's a red mark through my microphone for some reason. I don't know why on one of my cameras, but test, test, test. Okay. All right. Sound is on. There we go. All right, Cade. I'll talk to you in a little bit. All right. So anyway, I don't know what happened there. Had some technical difficulties where I lost a mic for some reason. I apologize. So anyway, as I was saying, that in Jefferson County, we have a large high crime rate. So that crime rate is at 15.05 per 1,000 household members or citizens in Jefferson County, right? So that comes to a rate of $1,000, a little over $1,000, almost $3,000 per household, right? So that adds up to like $70 million that is directly impacting Jefferson County. And what I was getting to is that if you're from here, you already know this. I'm not telling you something that's not true. I'm telling you. All right, hang on a second. It looks like I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Yeah. I'm good. Who's this? Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm doing a Facebook Live right now. Let me give you a holler back, Greg, okay? All right, bud. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I thought maybe that was one of you guys out there. But anyway, as I talk about that high crime rate, so I'm not telling you nothing you don't already know, but there are people in this county that are going to Grant County, Pulaski County, shopping at those Walmarts, those Krogers, whatever. Hang on, I think we might have just lost. All right, so we might have spending tax dollars at those areas that people feel safer because of our high crime rate within Jefferson County. So what my goal is to do by lowering the crime rate within Jefferson County, that will get people to feel comfortable and safe back here in their community. Those of you who have followed me for a while, I talk about my fictional character of the 60-plus-year-old lady who lives at 16th and Cherry, who's lived in her home for 30-plus years. She doesn't move because she doesn't want to, or she can't move because she can't afford to, but she doesn't feel safe in her own home because we're not enforcing laws on criminal activity like we should be. So not only are we having people that are spending tax dollars somewhere else, we are also having people prisoners in their own home. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but that is not freedom. You know, in my perspective, I have been in the military off and on for a total of 23 years out of the past 34, and that's not what I fought for. That's not what the freedoms that I fought for this country for and the things that I support. So we've got to do a better job at lowering this crime rate so every citizen, it does not matter if you're black or white, male or female, live inside the city limits of Pine Bluff, Whitehall, or Redfield, or if you live in the unincorporated areas of Jefferson County. By God, we're all Jefferson County residents, right? We're all Jefferson County citizens, even the visitors that come here. Right now, the biggest tourist attraction we got is a casino. We need to lower the crime rate so people can start investing in the infrastructure back within Pine Bluff, Jefferson County, so we can stop the bleed where people are not leaving here, where people want to come back to Jefferson County, where they will want to visit here instead of snarl their nose when you tell them that you live in Jefferson County or Pine Bluff or whatever. We all know that. We've been there. We've heard them say it. We've heard the comments that are made. And so what I'm telling you is that Chris Lowery's plan as the sheriff will cut down the crime by over 50% in the first year. I'm telling you, I will walk in the door day one. As those of you who may not have been listening to me for quite some time, I tell you that the day I swear into office, I'm going to that jail, and we're going to immediately start making it safe and efficient. Open it up where law enforcement officers who have deemed that an arrest is necessary in the performance of their jobs will be allowed to bring those arrested individuals to the Dub Razzle Detention Center and be processed. What that means, what that looks like, is that they will be able to be fingerprinted, photographed, and processed, whether we're able to keep them on bed space or not, but they will at least be accountable for the crime that they were charged with that night. So that gets them into the system. That will also put them in contact with my jail advisory board to provide them with assistance, guidance, options for them to cut down on the crime they're doing. I also want to develop a work release program. I'm also wanting to work within the educational institutions. I got some people on board that are a part of that can ensure that people are getting educated while they're incarcerated, because education allows for prosperity, allows for people to grow and become a successful American and citizen of Jefferson County, right? So what all that looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why being tough on crime, because I believe if you attack that at its root cause, then other things will follow, right? So tough on crime, safe, efficient jail operations, those kind of go hand in hand, along with collaborating and cooperating with our local, state, and federal agencies. But then you slip right on into the mandated that I will have, I've spoke on this, mandated community involvement. I will work with the deputies and civilians that work for me at the sheriff's office, find out their best assets, what they're good at, and implement their resources of what they're good at doing into the community on a paid basis, right? So that now I'm investing with our employees, with our salaries right back into the communities, whether that's playing basketball with you, attending an elderly event, or helping put on a play production, or coaching a team, whatever that looks like, right? So anything from reading to the students to participating in Boy Scout activities, whatever that looks like, some community involvement mandated from the sheriff. And I'll be leading that by me being involved as well. So that's how all that comes together. And what we're looking at doing is these are the changes that are needed to have a drastic shift in what is currently going on in Jefferson County. We cannot keep doing the same. We have had the same sheriff for 7 years. Crime rate has, they put out stats that violent crime is at a low. I will tell you, maybe somewhat, but I would tell you that also it has to do with the way numbers are reported. But the real question is, do you or your loved one feel safe going to 16th and Cherry, to the new Church's Chicken? Do you or your loved one feel safe going to Walmart? Do you or your loved one feel safe going to Lowe's? Just ask yourself that. Ask your loved one that. Do you want them doing that? Because if the answer is no, then we got to do something different. I'm not placing the blame here on anybody. I'm not blaming specifically the sheriff. I'm not blaming any municipal police department. What I am saying is that we're not working together as a team. I spoke about this often, about how this is a similar to a football team. There's, two sides of the ball. There's an offense and a defense, but on each side of that, you have running backs, you have quarterbacks, you have special teams that are your kickers, you have place kickers, you have punters, you have field goal kickers. So every part of the team, law enforcement team, whether you work at the sheriff's office, a municipal department that is active within Jefferson County, or I got one better than that for you. If you're a certified law enforcement officer, if you've received the training and carry a certification within the state of Arkansas through our class standards, and you pass our vetting process, then I am looking to utilize you as a resource to combat this problem. Be part of the team. Be part of the law enforcement team of Jefferson County. It's not going to be specifically sheriff's office. It's not going to be specifically a police department. It's going to be about working with those agencies to ensure that we combat these problems, right? That's what it's going to be about. And once we do that, everything else will kind of start going into play, because if the juveniles are held accountable for the law violations that they break, and parents are holding them accountable and get tired of being in juvenile court, having to go get their children from JJC, get tired of the police being involved and holding them accountable, now some parental actions will come into play where they'll start going to school. When they start going to school, they'll get education. Once they're held accountable to following the rules in school, they will receive the education that our educational system is putting out for them. And then that makes a productive member of society. So now our education levels start going up, our crime rate starts going down, and then we start producing productive members of society and fulfilling the need for jobs around here. And then manufacturing jobs will come back. Investments will start happening within our community instead of pulling out. And then we have stopped the bleed. Can all of this happen in 4 years? Maybe not, but we can make a hell of a dent at it. I'm telling you, within the first year, I'll be able to cut that crime rate by 50% or better. That's my goal. That's my aspirations. I have the team already in place to be able to do that. I'm not running for sheriff to be a sheriff for the next 20 years. I'm coming in with some foundational work that I believe will get us on the path that we need to be on. I'm not like a politician that's like, well, in 8 years, because that means I'm counting on my second term. I'm setting my eyes on the immediate future. The immediate future is January of 2027, going into office, getting that jail safe and efficient, and being tough on crime. I believe that by working with the other agencies, collaborating and cooperating with the local, state, and federal agencies, and having that relationship with our community, that will all happen simultaneously. I call it a 1A, 1B, 1C. That will all happen together, and you will see a change in a short period of time. There's a 30, 60, 90-day program, and then our 1 year goal, right? So we will be working day one, and my team, we've already been open and transparent about that with our discussions about what we're going to do, and you will see the change, period. So thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. I apologize, guys, for the volume. I can't tell you why. I'm running 2 cameras here, something new I've tried to do, but it's saying I have lost that volume. I'm going to try to add it back and see what it does. Let's see. It looks like it might have done that. Yep, there's no audio source on that. So if I go to that other camera, it's not working. But anyway, so you guys are you're able to see me on here. So I've been pretty clear about my reasons for running. In case you don't know, some of you guys, this is your first time on there. I will go back and tell the story. And it was simply this. As I was policing within the community, and seeing a lot of criminal activity go unaccounted for, and the aspect that the jail was not accepting folks. You'll hear me refer to it as the jail was closed. Felons in possession of firearms, felonious drugs, people on parole in possession of weapons, and due to one reason or another, the jail wouldn't accept them, so there was no accountability. I just didn't, that was right. Then when I started looking at, and that's where I came up with my fictional character that lives at 16th and Cherry, because that exact thing happened multiple times in that general area. So as I started looking at who was running for sheriff, there was a total of 2 other people at the time. I became the 3rd person. And so it was, all right, somebody saying no volume again. Test, test, test. Okay. All right. Christian says he can hear me fine. So anyway, as I move forward into that and seeing that there was only a total of 3 candidates that were running for the sheriff's position, I just thought, well, one of them is the incumbent, and I'm not happy. The citizens aren't happy with the crime rate that's happened in Jefferson County. And the other one, I didn't feel is going to be someone that I could vote for. So when I looked at it, I just said, if not me, then who, right? So the fact is, I never thought I'd be in a position where I'd be running for political office. But as we've moved forward in this campaign, I'm telling you, Jefferson County. I'm telling you, Jefferson County, I'm the person that's needed for the job, right? So, hey, Judy, thank you so much for believing in me. I love you so much, and I believe that with all the citizens like you and my leadership, we can definitely make Pine Bluff and Jefferson County a better place for sure. So looking forward to that. I want to earn everybody's vote. I'm not running around just asking for votes. I believe in what I believe in is earning your vote, so we can, what I stand for, what your issues are that you've experienced with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, the county government as a whole. And I want to be as open and transparent with you as possible. You might have saw something I released this week. That's the type of transparent, or last week. That's the type of transparency you'll get with me. I'm an open book. I will do my very best to share with you whatever information that I can. So as long as it's legal and I'm able to do so, if it's not a time because it has to do with an investigation or whatever, I'll gladly state that as well. But once that information could be released, that's what we want to do. But as we talk about this race and trust and leadership, let's talk about the elephant in the room. So let me ask you, why not me? Anybody that's on there, I got 28 people on there. Somebody tell me now why they think I couldn't be the sheriff of Jefferson County. Or tell me what issues you have with your elected officials, with your county government, with your city government. Tell me what is going on that you're not happy with. Tell me with what you're not happy with or what you could do better. Thank you, Reverend Brown. I appreciate you so much for letting me know you could hear me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But let me know what issues you're having from your perspective, from a citizen that may not be in law enforcement. What do you see is the biggest issue within Jefferson County? How do you feel we can have the biggest impact? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, if we don't change it in 2026, Lord have mercy on us, because I think we're in for a world of hurt. If we don't get politicians and political figures that are elected that can work together to combat the problem, I think we're in a world of hurt. I can't tell you what that looks like other than I can tell you from my perspective as a law enforcement professional, that's where we start at. Now, you do have to have support there. You do have to have court members and county judges that are willing to provide you with the funds that are needed to make that happen, to have that safe, efficient jail operation, to have that community involvement. But, I'm the type of guy that if you tell me no, I figure out how we get to a yes. If you shut my dollars off, I'll figure out how we can do it with no dollars. But I will work with them to make this happen, because I'm sitting here in front of you today and every week. And as I go out and shake your hands and meet you, I'm making a promise to you, the citizen of Jefferson County, that we are here, mean business, tough on crime, efficient jail operations, collaboration, and working with our community, as well as utilizing my leadership and experience to take us to a destination department. So, Kim, I've known you for a little while now. I think you walk the talk. Can't just walk the walk and talk the talk. We get enough talking from our politicians now without any sustainable proof of change. Thank you, Kim. That's those who've known me for quite some time will tell you, if Chris says it, look out, he means it. And I'm telling you, we've had, me and Kathy, my wife, has had many conversations that once elected sheriff, she knows that I will be working nonstop to do what I'm telling you we're going to do. I'm going to be a working sheriff. There are people out there that talk about the sheriff as an administrative role. You are the administrator of the sheriff's office. I'm not denying that. But I'm telling you, what you as a citizen of Jefferson County need is a lawman, not a politician, a lawman that will come out, lead from the front, enforce the law, and help us combat the problem. All right, Christian says my voice is kind of fuzzy sounding, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Maybe that's better. Oh, okay. He said it fixed itself. I think some of that might be y'all's internet connection. All right. Kathy said it fixed it, or Christian said it fixed itself. But anyway, all right. So with all that being said, is that being a lawman, being the top law enforcement professional within Jefferson County, I will be out there working right along the side of the troops, right? I have a sheriff's intent, a sheriff's goal. Every employee will understand the goal and the why. The commander's intent is what I call it in the military. You will understand it. It's the sheriff's intent. And I make no bones about it. From day one that I decided to run till the day that I finish my term out as your next sheriff, every deputy will understand what the goal and objective is, period. And I will be doing that myself with them. I will be out on the streets. I will be in the neighborhoods. I'll be in the communities. I'll be in the outlying areas of Jefferson County. I'll be in downtown Pine Bluff, Whitehall, Redfield, you name it. I'm the sheriff of the entire county, so people will know me and know what the expectation of our Jefferson County citizens are. And we will hold people accountable to the law and the expectations. So that in turn is going to make Jefferson County a better place. So I've rambled on enough there. I would like to ask, of the 25 people on there, so everybody thinks that their current elected officials are great. There's no issues within Jefferson County. Nothing needs to change. Is that what I'm hearing, or no one's just typing it out? Feel free to go ahead and put it in the comments about what you've experienced, what you notice, what you think needs to be changed, because your opinion, your voice matters, right? And as we've all seen, every one of you are on social media. I got 23 people viewing right now. You've all seen where one group or another group or one individual or a couple of individuals or what have you pits this person against the other person, and we don't talk about fixing the real problem. Well, here's your opportunity. Let's talk about those things in this Facebook Live room right now. Kathy's got a question. From what I can see, I believe you are already making a difference. There are several posts about the jail processing people. I think this is because of you. Kathy, I would agree with you 100%. I can tell you from somebody who used that jail as a professional within the law enforcement community within Jefferson County, I was denied multiple times on arrest when I would take people to jail. After I made my announcement and after I made it public that the jail was closed, miraculously things started to change. A little bit. They still ain't changed for the best. They're still refusing to accept DWIs, regardless of what they tell you. They're not processing them. They're not fingerprinting them. They're not taking their pictures. They're not documenting them in the APHIS system. Okay, so that's a problem. If they're not doing that on DWIs, what other crimes are they doing that on? I will tell you, just the other night, I had a Schedule 6 narcotic arrest that I wasn't able to take them to jail because they don't process nonviolent offenses. They don't even, I'm not saying they have to house them. I get it. The jail might be full. The bed spaces may be limited. And we have a lot of violent crime within Jefferson County. But what I'm saying and what I have said from the get-go is that they should process those individuals, which means photograph, fingerprints, APHIS, put them in the system so other law enforcement professionals and the judicial system can see that this arrest was in effect on this person. Because guess what? When we don't arrest them, what does that mean? Give you a second to think about that. I'll tell you what it means. Tell you exactly what happened just the other night on the Schedule 6 narcotic. The individual that is arrested and not taken to the jail and processed at the jail is now issued a citation, a summons for them to appear in court. That's all fine and dandy. Some of you will say, well, the jail's not accepting them. These are things that I experience on the regular basis. So now you have people out there with multiple warrants, multiple FTAs, and then nothing happens. So at what point do we get them in front of a judge? The people that you elected, the judges that you, the citizens elected. So how do we get in front of them? If the jail's not taking them, they're not processing them, not holding them to see a judge in the morning, how does that happen? You give them another ticket. Well, I can tell you firsthand experience, what happens is, as a law enforcement professional, we come in contact with them. They tell us, man, the jail's closed. They ain't taking nobody. They ain't taking nonviolent misdemeanors. I'm not worried about that warrant. I ain't doing this. I'm not doing that. Blah, 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 blah. Excuse after excuse. And they're right. There's nothing I can currently do other than let them go down the road. That's not fair to you as a citizen. So they are back to doing crimes again on the streets because they haven't been held accountable. The blue lights didn't mean nothing to them. It didn't get them right. It didn't scare them straight. It didn't give them corrective action because there was no follow through. What is discipline without follow through? So, hey, Tim, ACIC is doing an investigation into Jefferson County due to the leave it active, which is a violation of ACIC standards. That's awesome. I hope they do. By God, I hope that's true, Tim. You as a chief, I think you would know that probably a little bit better than me. But it's not right. as a law enforcement professional out there risking my life daily to willing to take a bullet for someone in this county because I've sworn to serve the citizens of the community that I work in. And then when I come across some of these, what I'm going to call bad hombres, and I can't even take them to jail. And you may say, oh, they're not that bad. I'm telling you, I've taken people, I have arrested, detained people that are felon in possession of weapons with assault rifles, and the jail wouldn't take them. I don't know how much bad a person has to be for me to call them a bad hombre, but they're on parole. Jail won't take them. They're carrying a gun. In case you don't know, felons on parole can't own a gun. Pretty bad person, or at least their intentions are possibly there to be bad. And so for us not to be able to take them to the jail, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I hope there is an investigation. So not fair to the citizens of Jefferson County, but also not fair to law enforcement professionals risking their lives. Absolutely, son. I agree with you. It must be a Lowery thing. That's my youngest son, who is a law enforcement professional within the United States Air Force, serving his country down in Florida. Congratulations on your recent marriage, son. Can't wait to see you and Sam here soon, hopefully. But yes, what I'm speaking to you, ladies and gentlemen, is by far the truth. That is how it works. I don't care what politician spends it, what appointed person spends it. And when I say that, I'm talking about whether they're elected sheriff or mayor or county judge or appointed major, captain, whatever. I'm telling you, they can say one thing, but I'm on the streets and know what happens. When I come across somebody with warrants, dispatch center tells me, leave it active, leave it active, leave it active. So I don't understand what they expect to happen. I think they're miraculously thinking one day that 1,000-bed jail would miraculously get appeared in Jefferson County and we'd be able to go round up all these warrants. Absolutely not. I think there's going to have to be some sort of amnesty type program come into effect, which is something I will look at trying to work with the courts and the judges on to get it down, right? Get the number of warrants down to a manageable level. Because if you have all these numbers and they just keep getting added every day, I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I go to court on something, whether it's a driving on suspended, possession of Schedule 6 narcotics, what have you. If it's a misdemeanor crime, I would say 35 to 40% of the time, the suspect does not show up to court, right? So there again, another FTA that we're not doing nothing with. So I don't know if you guys understand that or not, but if there's no accountability, if there's no follow through, just like if you've ever raised children and you don't follow through with the rules and the discipline that you set forth with your child, they end up creating more problems, more issues, and getting away with more. It's that giving them an inch, they take a mile type situation. Broken window theory is what we talk about in law enforcement. If we don't hold people accountable for their actions, then that 100% becomes a problem that we have to deal with tomorrow and next week and next month. And then the issue with that is that the problem is more severe because there was no consequence for their minimal action. So I want to be clear, in case somebody just tuned in and hearing me kind of go on that tangent about the jail being closed and being tough on crime. Don't let people alter my words to you, okay? Plain and simple. It's about accountability. It does not mean that people will go to jail. It does not mean that we're locking away everybody. What it means is accountability. What that looks like is if you've ever been driving for any length of time in your life, you probably, maybe at least are aware of it. Maybe you ran a stop sign or didn't use a turn signal or went 7 miles an hour over the speed limit, and a law enforcement professional stopped you, spoke with you, made sure you were legal and good to go, but did not issue you a ticket. That's accountability, right? That right there within itself is holding you accountable, educating you on what you did wrong, how you can correct your behavior, because ideally, that's what a traffic stop is for, is to correct the bad behavior. It's not to issue tickets. It's not to put people in jail. It's to correct the bad behavior. But now those traffic stops, they can turn into more. Other criminal activity, criminal interdiction sometimes comes into place. You're seeing things, you smell things, and it develops into true criminals. But all I want to do is hold people accountable, fair, firm, consistent across the board. You know, the days of people getting away with crime in Jefferson County are over with come January 2027. God willing that you put me in office. I know no other way to say it. If you want change in Jefferson County and you're not afraid to put me in office, then you will see the change that is needed within Jefferson County. I've thrown this out there a time or two to talk about the elephant in the room with the race, trust, leadership, and discuss issues within Jefferson County. I've even thrown out there a blanket statement that was, tell me why. Tell me why I can't be sheriff of Jefferson County. What makes me not a fit for the sheriff of Jefferson County? If you can tell me that, I'm willing to listen. But I'm telling you that I have over 3,500 hours of law enforcement training hours. I have a senior certificate, which is the state's highest certification in law enforcement, have a criminal justice degree. I have 22 years of law enforcement experience. I've been certified in the state of Arkansas since 2012. I have worked for multiple agencies. I currently work for the greatest agency I've ever worked for. When I become elected sheriff, I hate that I will be leaving them, but I will welcome the opportunity to serve at a much broader spectrum within the county of Jefferson and lead by example in getting us back to the path of where we need to be. We got to stop the bleed of Jefferson County. So what I would say is that there's 28 people on here right now, 27. Nobody is speaking up on why I couldn't be the sheriff of Jefferson County. So I'll take that as a compliment. I meet all the qualifications, plus I offer a plethora of experience, education, training, and knowledge to bring forward to a department that is needed. You know, currently the sheriff's office and the county government are at odds with one another. And when I talk about the county government, part of the county court, the quorum court, and the county judge, and how I differ in that is we will work through mediation. We will be adults. We will work the problem out. I will not rest until if there is a problem between me and the county government is settled, right? It's pretty simple. You tell me where the mistake is. You tell me what the issue is. If it's resolvable on my end, I'll resolve it. If it's not resolvable on my end, I will be able to show you where it is not on my end, but on someone else's end, and dig through that to get it resolved that way as well. But the days of pitting one another against each other are over with, ladies and gentlemen. If we ever want to succeed in Jefferson County, we have got to forget, what it was. Or not forget, because we don't want to forget, but we got to change what it is, right? So let's remember, regardless, black or white, man or woman, 18 to 80, it does not matter. A citizen of Jefferson County deserves their elected officials to work for them. Of the people on here live, what are they hearing about why you would not be a good sheriff for this county? Yeah, I would welcome that question too, Kathy. You know, I've heard people, I've saw comments, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but I'm telling you, I come to the table, I come to the forefront with all the qualifications and then some, and then I have the experience, the know-how, and the leadership ability to take this county to where it needs to be. So I'm looking forward to earning everybody's vote. I look forward to showing you by leading by example on the platform that I've spoken to you about how that's going to change the current trajectory of Jefferson County, Pine Bluff in particular. We all know, right, in case you don't know this, so the sheriff is the top law enforcement official within the county, right? So there's 75 counties in Jefferson County. The county seat for Jefferson County is Pine Bluff, Arkansas, right? So Pine Bluff, Arkansas has 38, 39, 40,000 people, depending upon which census you look at, but roughly that's the number, okay? They have their own elected government. They have their own municipal police department. They have their own fire department. They have their own mayor, their city councilman, all that good stuff, right? So they run themselves, right? But need help. I'm telling you that currently there is not a collaborative effort between the full team. The full team is every law enforcement professional in Jefferson County coming together to fight one united front. You know, I can't even get someone from the sheriff's office to come transport somebody to jail. I can't get someone from the sheriff's office to process someone into the jail when I lawfully and legally arrest them. I cannot make that happen. I have deputy friends that tell me that I would like to collaborate with him, providing resources, and let's combat this crime. Because if you look, I was talking about Jefferson County, right? It's like 60,000 people, 38 to 40 in Pine Bluff, right? 600, I think it was 660, don't quote me, violent crimes happened in Pine Bluff. The rest of the county, it was like, I don't know, 30 something out in the county, 15 in Whitehall, couple in Redfield, whatever, right? So vast majority of where our crime problem is in the city of Pine Bluff. So why would we not be helping them on more than just the GVI program, right? So that's the group violence intervention program. I think we need to take a more active role in that. I think we need to be harder hitting. I think we need to be more direct, more firm, and more stringent in the enforcement of the laws within Jefferson County. And I think that's going to take part by getting every law enforcement professional within Jefferson County, regardless if you work for the sheriff's office, the Pine Bluff Police Department, the Whitehall Police Department, the Redfield Police Department, or for that matter, if it's lawfully and legally allowed and you're a sworn law enforcement officer for another agency. I'll give you examples. I'm a big example guy. If you work at Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, but you live down here, which I did at one time. I lived in Jefferson County and worked for Pulaski County. If Pulaski County would allow you, I would have a conversation with Sheriff Eric Higgins to see if there was a way that we could get you sworn in and deputized under the Jefferson County umbrella to allow you to police, enforce laws, rules, and regulations within your own community. Imagine that. Unheard of, right? So those are all things that are on the plan to do. So let's see what Judy says. Chris, with all your training in law enforcement, if the people in this town and county want change for the better, people need to get out November of 26 and vote for that. You know, Judy says it so well right there. You know, ladies and gentlemen, as I've traveled this county and went to different events and what have you, and shook a lot of hands and had a lot of conversations, opened myself up to these lives and videos and what have you. Are they doing their due diligence to get them moved into their facilities, whether that's the Arkansas Department of Corrections or a federal prison, what have you? So I would definitely look at that. If those people were not doing their part, doing their due diligence, I would hold them accountable. And some of you old school people out there, I'm fixing to give you a little story that might remind you of something, but Chris Lowery is not opposed to doing something like this. So back in the days of Tommy Robinson, he ran into that. He used to be the sheriff of of Pulaski County. And when the Arkansas Department of Corrections decided that they didn't want to take their inmates and he was running out of bed space, he loaded up a bus load of them and brought them down here to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to the diagnostic unit for the Arkansas Department of Corrections, and handcuffed them to the fence and said, if you won't come get them, I'm delivering them to you. And, you know, that's what accountability looks like. We're not a stepping stone for other agencies to abuse. I will work with them. That's what the collaboration, cooperation is about. Finding out what their mutual aid agreements are, what that looks like. But we will, day one, be involved in that and making as much bed space as possible. But to your point that I didn't speak about, Christian, I'm also looking at the options for alternative housing for our nonviolent offenders, right? So right now, nonviolent offenders are being turned away. Well, how awesome would it be if we had alternative housing where we could allow those people to still do their time in jail while being on a work release type program? If they had a job, let's just say at Tyson or U.S. Steel or Diamond State K-9, whatever that looks like, get their work scheduled, their nonviolent offender, first-time offender type deal. You have the option to maintain your employment by utilizing our transportation department to get you to and from jail while you're still maintaining employment, to be able to pay for your fines, to be able to support your family, your children, your wife, so forth and so on. Because if you're locked up for 30 days, chances are you're going to lose your job. As a business owner, I run on limited payroll, and so there's no way I can pay somebody who's not at work. If you're not there, I'm going to have to hire somebody to replace you. If I have to do that, then your paycheck is now going to them. So you don't have a job anymore. So how awesome would that look like if I was able to institute alternative housing with the work release program? I think that's pretty phenomenal. That's something we haven't tried here. And I do believe that that's part of our jail advisory board. That's part of our recidivism rate. Because what happens is when people get kicked when they're down, when they go to jail time and time again, and they try, but then they get arrested again, and so forth and so on, eventually they just give up. We got to work with our counselors, our clergy, our educators, our business owners to get these people lifted up in spirit, properly trained, properly educated, show them an alternative, different way of life. You know, get into their background a little bit and provide them with those resources that would allow them to stray away from what has been causing them to commit these crimes. So that's what that looks like, Christian. In short, hold those agencies accountable. If they're occupying our bed space, then we will do our darndest to get that cleared up, policed up. I call it trimming the fat, right? Well, I've talked about that in previous podcasts. At the sheriff's office, I will be trimming fat. If there are people in positions that don't need to be in those positions, we will reallocate those slots. We will provide a more service. We'll be service driven to our community. And what that looks like is, simply put, you can detect from a police car, but you can't police from a detective's desk. If you work Monday through Friday, weekends and holidays off, you know, that's not what this job and profession is about. If our citizens need more people on the street and we don't have the funding to employ more people, then I got no choice. But if I'm going to be out there working, my chief deputy is going to be out there working, my administration is going to be out there working, then by God, some of these detectives, some of these specialty positions will be out there working. You know, we will be a professional organization. We will be a uniform wearing organization. We will represent the citizens of Jefferson County through and through professionally. We will be working on getting body cameras in place. We will working on transparency through our website, through our Freedom of Information Act procedures. You know, these are all things that the citizens of Jefferson County have told me they need. They need timely response. They need more of a response. They need more deputies on the street. They need transparency. They need body cameras. They need accountability. Right. And so those are all things that we're working towards doing with my platform. So as we close out here tonight, tonight's Facebook Live was about race, trust, and leadership. We put a little moniker on it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Nobody really had anything to say as far as the elephant in the room. I threw it out there a couple of times. Feel free to message me if that's what you would like to do. To tell me why you think that I, Chris Lowery, 52-year-old male, cannot be sheriff of Jefferson County. I was born and raised here. I left while I was in the military, came back after 18 years, consciously, purposely, and intentionally moved back here in 2010, and been in law enforcement ever since, whether that was in the corrections field or on the streets in law enforcement. And I serve my community. I'm a proud business owner here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I'm a proud resident in Whitehall, Arkansas. I have family that lives in Pine Bluff. I have family that live in the outlying areas in the county. So we are born and bred here in Jefferson County. So I would like to hear you tell me why you don't think I, as Chris Lowery, could not be your sheriff of Jefferson County. If you have a legitimate reason, I'd love to hear it. We'll talk about it, discuss it. Maybe I could clarify something you've misunderstood about me. If not, we'll agree to disagree. What I'm asking everybody to do is to dig down deep and think, if you truly want change, if you're wanting change within Jefferson County, which you've all told me you want, how does that change take effect? That change takes effect by you casting your vote. There's a primary race in March, and the general election is November. November is when you will see me. We are 11 months away, ladies and gentlemen, a little under 11 months actually, away from you being able to cast a vote for me. Early voting will be in October of 26. And then I'm asking to earn your vote to get me in to be the next sheriff of Jefferson County so you can hold me accountable for the things that I've told you I will do. And within the first 5 minutes of taking office, you will see me going into that jail and start to police it up. Within the first week, you will see me have meetings with different municipality chiefs to have this discussion about what it looks like to get the cross swearing in. where jurisdictional boundaries can be blurred because now we are all one team, one fight. And then we will look at consistently, regularly conducting security, safety, shakedown checks of the jail. We will look at consistently and regularly conducting proactive law enforcement actions at a mass quantity level to combat this crime. Criminals of Jefferson County, take heed. You need to leave Jefferson County or get right. January 2027, Chris Lowery, the new sheriff of Jefferson County, is coming. He's coming with a plan. He's coming with the team, and we will make Jefferson County once again a better place to live and stop the bleed. So anyway, I've not had any comments in a little while. Well, there's one right there. Hey, Hossie, worked with Chris Lowery for a long time. I'm very confident he will do an excellent job as sheriff. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hossie. Appreciate that so much. That just reminds me, I'll share something with you, viewers at this point. So there's been a lot going on since I've announced my candidacy, but what Hossie just said right there is very humbling to me. I've had that happen multiple times. And that is people of prior leadership that I might have worked for at a different agency to come back and tell me that they believe I would do a great job. They've known me for a long time, and that just speaks volumes because I am who I am, and I believe that that I have no apologies for who I am. It's what made me today. I've made mistakes. I've tripped. I fell. I've picked myself up, and I do the right things for the right reasons at the time of the circumstances that was presented in front of me. So it's very humbling to hear that. Thank you so much, Hossie. Thank you so much. I was reading Michael Davenport, why the pay is low in the jail, why Jefferson County can't match pay of the prisons in the areas. So Michael, I think that's a great question, but I would tell you first and foremost, you're talking state agency versus county agency, different pots of money, right? I know that recently, I think it was June or July of last year, Governor Sanders and the legislators passed some laws to give some raises within the prison system. I believe part of that was due to understaffing. They felt if they could get more money, they could get more people in there. I will tell you from someone who has worked at state agencies, municipal agencies, and county agencies, of all three of those, the lowest paid has typically been your county agency. So why is the county jail pay so low? I can't give you an exact answer on that right now because I have requested budgets and have not been provided them. But I will tell you that historically, county positions are lower paid. For me personally, I know money is great for everybody. For me personally, and Chris Phillips, if you're listening, you're probably going to get mad at me for saying this because I've said it before, but money ranks about number 2 or 3 for me on my list of things. Job satisfaction is where it's at for me. I love being able to go to work, provide a good service, have fun while I'm at work with some good people and some good leaders. That's number 1 for me. So what I vow to you as the sheriff, you will have that. You will have a great opportunity. If you work at the jail, you will have a great opportunity to progress, move up, and learn more about law enforcement, learn more about the jail, and utilize your skill set. So if the pay is not comparable to like counties, I will be working with the quorum court to have those salaries adjusted. I think that's part of what's causing the problem between the disparity or the lack of being able to pass budgetary means within the Jefferson County government. Is there's a difference of agreement. I'm not sure if it's jailers, jail staff, detention staff, enforcement administrators, or whatever. But I know where there was some discrepancies talked about at the 2025 budget, and I believe at the 2026 budget. So that would be, we have to get budgets passed and then work towards getting the equal, equitable pay, right? So that's the vow I'd make to you, Michael. Why is that on the first things on the agenda? What about change? Why is that on the first things on the agenda? Why is what? Why is tough on crime? Is that your question, Michael? Give you a second to clarify. Why is that on the first things on the agenda? What about change? Give you a second, Michael, to go ahead and tell me. I don't want to interpret your question there. I just want to make sure that, are you talking about on my agenda? Are you talking about on the quorum court's agenda? Just let you have a moment to type a response to me. So Michael says, why is that on the first things on the agenda? What about change? And then you say salary. And I don't want to be difficult, Michael, here. Are you talking about my agenda? I'm sorry, I just want to clarify the question properly if I could. If you're talking about as far as, the first thing on my agenda, the first thing on my agenda is first 5 minutes to take an office is going to that detention center, and that is going and making it a safe, humane environment. That's shaking it down, bringing a team, training the staff that's in there where they are properly trained on finding contraband, running a safe, equitable jail, making sure that people's loved ones that are housed there are not getting murdered, that cell phones are eradicated from the facility, that proper searching of environment of people coming in and out of the jail are allowed to take place. That's day 1 minute, first 5 minutes, right? So that's number one. As anything to do with salaries, I would have to look at it. Again, I stated I've never been given a budget, although they've been requested. I'm not sure exactly what the salaries currently are and what that's based off of. I have requested that information through the Freedom of Information Act and have not been met with the most transparent of options when it comes to that. I would tell you that I would do a study to compare them to like-sized jails. One of the things that happened, I can tell you firsthand at Pulaski County, and obviously we're not Pulaski County, but I did work there as a Pulaski County deputy. The jail deputies and the enforcement deputies were on the same pay level, right? So road deputies, detention deputies, they were equal as far as pay goes, right? And I believe in title that is very well, very doable and possible. So, okay, let's see. Chris Phillips, I believe in working for a purpose. I also believe that in the private sector, pay should be good measurement for performance. I agree. I think that's a fair statement. Michael, training doesn't mean anything without proper pay. Match the pay of the state prison. I strongly disagree with that, Michael. I shouldn't have to pay you to train, right? You took the job. A person took the job for what the pay was when it was listed day one you walk in the door. Training involves to being a professional. Training means that you have signed up for a job, that you knew what the pay was when you walked in the door. Now, I'm not saying that it's paid adequately, that's what, that's the max you should make. But if you knew that you signed up, if an individual, not you, I don't know where you work at and I don't know you personally, but if you signed up for a job, if I as the sheriff offered you a job at the Dub Brazel Detention Center and showed you on writing that the salary was, say, $38,000 a year, and then I brought you in and started training you, and then you said, oh, well, this don't matter because the pay ain't good. Well, I'm going to call bull malarkey on that. You knew what you was getting paid when you walked into it, and this is a life or death job. Working behind the wall or out on the street is life and death, so training matters. Training matters. Okay, we will get you to a point, if you work for me, that the pay is equal or comparable to like-minded jobs. If all I could tell you, if your primary means and your primary thing is to work for the state prison because they pay more, then by all means, I think Arkansas.com jobs has applications out there all the time. You got to do what's right for you and your family. But I will tell you that I stand strong on training matters. If you don't train, you end up getting hurt. If you end up getting hurt, we have to have funerals. That's not good, right? So I disagree with your statement there, period. Training does not mean anything unless you match the pay of the state prison. Bobby Womack always says, you just can't make love to a woman and push a child back in there. I don't even know what to say about that. Michael, I'm saying that when a person takes a job, they know what they're getting paid. if we realize as we're doing our hiring process that we're having lack of applicants because pay, if that's something we feel like, as we've done a study on that and compared it to, I believe Saline County Jail is 314 beds or so. I think Doug Braswell is very comparable to that. If our pay is drastically different than what Saline County is able to do, then we need to do something different. But much like I have spoke about, when people ask for more, we got to show where proof's in the pudding, right? You're going to have to come in and work with me. If you're already working there, do a great job. Let's combat this crime. Let's get the jail safe. Let's get it open. Let's get it where we're tough on crime, where we're processing inmates and violators in through fingerprint and processing and AFIS entries. Let's get that. So then I have some meat to go back to the quorum court and say, we're doing more with less. I need more money. These people are working their butts off. They're doing what they can do to combat the crime, and then I can fight for that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if a detention deputy told me today, if I walked in today, I was a sheriff, and they said, I need more money, I would say, well, considering that over the past 3 years, I've came in here and you've refused 50% of the people I took in, I don't know what we're paying you to do in the first place. So what I'm saying is we got to do more, right? And show, we can't ask for more if we're not already doing stuff. We don't get paid just to show up, right? When people accept jobs, they accept a certain salary. No one's forcing your hand to take that job. We're looking at it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to come work for my administration that will be the best sheriff's office in the state, if not the United States, right? Leading from the front. So Reagan, as a single parent, we desperately need better pay. I agree, Reagan. My goal will be to look at all of that as a whole, comparable, right? I know what enforcement, some enforcement deputies make. You know me a little bit personally, and it's not comparable to a maxed out deputy is not the same as a maxed out patrolman. So there's kind of three different levels that we're talking about. The patrolman being, say, Pine Bluff Police Department versus a maxed out deputy at the sheriff's office versus a detention deputy. I think those are three different pay levels, right? So we would want to look at, what is fair and equitable. It's benefits and pay, 100%. I believe in fighting for those. I think currently the sheriff's office or county employees get paid twice a month, which I think within itself can be taxing. I think that can be taxing on a family versus every 2-week deal. It's 24 pay periods versus 26 pay periods. So I would like to address those issues with, the treasurer and the county judge and see, if that really is an issue or if it's just something I believe is an issue. I would stand fast and listen to the employees of the sheriff's office. And if that was a fight worth having, I'm the man willing to have that fight or that argument to see how we can get to a yes on that, right? So if pay is one, absolutely, right? I just don't believe that we can walk in day one. Anybody can walk in and say, I'm going to give you better pay. We're going to give you better cars. We're going to give you better this and better that. And we're going to do this. Let's be realistic. It's about a budget that is controlled by the purse strings of the quorum court, which comes from tax dollars, through our county government. So until we do a better job, and I say we, as an entire law enforcement community, combat this crime and lower it down so we're not at a 15.05 per 1,000 per capita, until we do a better job, I don't know how we can really ask for more, right? I get it. I understand the need. I understand as a single parent, you want to provide for your family wholeheartedly and you want to give the best. I want to be able to give that to you. I want you to be able to flourish, promote, and grow and make money. I get it, right? I do have some other alternative things that are out there. Speaking to you specifically, if you are a deputy, I want to look at the part-time program and making that more fair and equitable and shareable. I want to look at ways of employing deputies in unincorporated areas that might be financially, fiscally ready to absorb some of that expense on a part-time basis. Reagan, I'll speak to you specifically. I think if you take the small towns north of the river that at some point has had police departments, if they're able to absorb some of that expense, what about an opportunity where deputies on their day off, if they wanted to, could go work that for part-time money? instead of going and working out at the casino or at the convention center like I've seen over the King Cotton Classic, or the casino like I see on Friday and Saturday nights. That's just different ways. Trust me, in 2015, I left the Little Rock Police Department and took a $30,000 pay cut and went to the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office for $35,000. I know what it's like to live on a shoestring budget. I understand. I worked my tail off, right? So I did a lot of part-time work, and I was working. You can ask Christian if he's still on here. My youngest son, I missed most of his junior and senior year of high school. Was that good for our family? Probably not, but I did what I had to do to survive. But now you guys will be electing a leader that will listen to your concerns, listen to your voices, and take that to the right people to come up with a plan. We can't just I can tell you this for sure, as a business owner, one of my employees could not come to me today and say, hey, I need a 10% pay increase or I'm gone. If I can't get 10% more today, I'm going to the next dog training company. I'd probably have to tell them, well, look, go to the next dog training. The thing I know is that you're not going to be working at the best dog training company in all the state of Arkansas, because I haven't budgeted for that, right? It's not a threat. It's just a business, as a community, as a governing body. You have to work off budgets, right? So you budget for these raises, and you got to make sure that the funds are there. So the pledge that I make is that if our pay at the sheriff's office is not equitable, right, we will look at it. I have strategic partners as part of my team that have been heavily involved in negotiations. Okay, you can take some hints from there to be able to get people to the pay that they deserve and they earn. I believe that a law enforcement officer out there willing to take a bullet for a citizen, man, deserves in excess of $100,000 a year. I believe that detention deputy works one of the most hardest jobs there is. I believe they're in with the worst of the worst and have to deal with, some of the people that just have not got a care in the world about anything, from taking a bath to the care for other human life. I get that. You should be rewarded financially for that. But I, as your next sheriff, cannot come in and say, well, we're just going to automatically give you 10, 20, 30%. That's not the way that works. I want to only speak facts to you. And those facts is that when I finally get the budget and I'm able to look at that and compare them to like organizations, we will have discussions, open forum discussions with the deputies, both detention and enforcement, right? And see what we can do. We will come up with a formulated plan utilizing my team to approach it the best way possible, right? Never come up with a problem if you don't have a solution, right? So we want to combat that with being able to provide them with the data needed to fulfill the void that we would have at the sheriff's office. I will tell you, going back to the guy's question a while ago about training and money that didn't matter, I will notice that as I see deputies, as I see sheriff's office employees, you do have some antiquated equipment. There's no body cameras. There's no car cameras. I see a lot of the vehicles are aging, right? And then I notice that tasers you're carrying are, 2 or 3 model go tasers, right? So that will be on my agenda to ascertain that money through grants and funding to get us up to snuff, because I do believe in training and equipment. Training and equipment saves lives. I need Reagan to go home at the end of the day to your daughter and live your life as safely as possible. That's what I need. I think his name was Michael. I need Michael for you to go home at the end of the day safely and as possible. I need for us to not attend one law enforcement funeral under my watch. And that involves training and equipment, right? We'll work on the money. We'll work on the training and equipment. We'll get it all there, but it can't all happen overnight. So hopefully that answers your questions as much as I could. I appreciate everybody's input tonight. The questions that came, some great questions, gave me an opportunity to discuss a few things and just bring it to you. Let's see. Chris says, I think everybody believes they desperately need more pay, and Jefferson County Sheriff's Office performance was rated on a scale of 1 to 10 by the citizens they serve. What would that number be? That's a great question, Chris. I don't know. I can't tell you what that answer would be. I've never had to have a law enforcement interaction with the sheriff's office. I will tell you that through this campaign, we have dealt with the sheriff's office very minimally, been met with some obstacles, and I don't think that their rating could be a 10, 10 being the best. How say you? But I wouldn't rate them at a 1 either. I would say that priorities are conflicted sometimes when it comes to service. And I will say that I've been contacted by citizens that have reported horrendous crimes to them to the point that they didn't feel like they had follow up or follow through from the investigative side of things. I will say that people have reached out to me and talked about response times and slow response times. So those are all issues that I want to fix, and that's what we talk about, trimming the fat. We want to be a more efficient, well-oiled machine. Ladies and gentlemen, once we get that, the pay will come. People will see that we're an agency to be a destination at, and it's going to take pay to make that happen, but it's also going to be a safe, well-equipped, well-trained fighting force to attack this problem on a team effort. So there's issues everywhere. What we need is a leader and to be motivated. Absolutely. Hey, Reagan, I couldn't have said it better. I've told you I've worked at multiple agencies, and sometimes the grass appears to be greener on the other side, but it's not. 100%. That's what I've stated all along through this. If you talk about when people ask me why I'm running for sheriff, I tell them, and I always say this at some point, I don't have an ill word to say about the current sheriff, other than I do not believe that he is the leader that I am. He's not the leader that can bring change. Otherwise, we would have already had that change in effect. So I'm a guy that leads from the front. I have a military, paramilitary mindset. Leaders eat last, lead from the front, set out the intent, follow through, encouragement and motivation, reward for good work, right? So that's what I do. And I've been at agencies where I have heard the department head doing things proactively, making a traffic stop or responding to a call. And I could tell you that is so impressive when that happens. I won't say who it is. Some of you know what agency I work for, but I choose not to speak about them. But I can tell you within the past couple of years, I'll tell you 2 incidents. Most of the time, if you're a patrolman, accidents are something you don't enjoy working very much. At least I don't, but that's part of the job, so we do them. Once at a previous agency and once at this agency. One was a chief at the previous agency and one is a captain. And they worked an accident for me just because they were there, and it showed that they were not above doing patrol-type duties, which showed a great sign of leadership. And when I tell that story, I generally follow it up with, man, I'll walk on fire for those guys because they just showed me what it was about. They looked out for me. They knew I'd been overworked and underpaid for the day, and so they took the opportunity to utilize their leadership and experience to take some relief off of me, and I appreciate it so much. So yes, Reagan, I agree with you so much that issues are everywhere, and that everybody needs a leader that will keep them motivated. And not only me, but the staff that I will be bringing with me are motivators by nature. I promise you this: if you work at the sheriff's office underneath the Lowery administration, you will be motivated. You will be excited to come to work. You'll probably be one of those situations where we'll have to tell you, hey, you need to go home. You need to take some time to go spend with your family because we're going to be doing some good things over here at the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office for the citizens of Jefferson County. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have been on here for an hour and 36 minutes. Thank you so much. It's been a great conversation. We've had some new people chime in, and I appreciate that so much. As always, remember, you can reach me at 870-556-0330. You can check me out on my Lowery4sheriff.com page. Has an opportunity for you to go out there and read about me a little bit, my bio, my vision, as well as you can commit to vote for me, which I would appreciate so much. Tag a friend in this, tag somebody that you know needs to hear what I have to say and understand that a new sheriff is coming to town. So anyway, it's been a great, enjoyable evening. Thank you so much. And as always, remember, God bless Jefferson County.